Someone keeps making videos about me. It's been like 4 now. And so I have to ask, simply Steph, in the words of Mariah Carey,
why are you so obsessed with me?
Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. Well, just like the title says, some woman just can't keep my name out her mouth. And I'm getting sick and tired of being flattered. Oh yeah, I gotcha, caught you. You were looking for some drama. You were looking to have 2 women fight it over virtually for your amusement. So for a while now, I got so many messages saying, Michelle, Simply Steph is talking about you. Simply Steph is saying things about you, Michelle. Michelle, Simply Steph is talking about you today on YouTube. And some of you need to be a little bit more clear because I thought it was like a fat acceptance person angry at me. And I know I do it sometimes and occasionally, but recently I don't have time to go back and forth with these weirdos on TikTok who think eating 58 double McCheesy burgers have no health risks, okay? There's no point to it. It's a little too easy at this point to prove my point to those types of people. So I really didn't pay much attention to her. But when one of my real life friends sent me the video and said, yeah, that's right, my girl motivating people to lose 30 pounds, I was like, oh, it's a nice video. Well, that changes some things, a lot of things. And I should highlight the nice videos too. Simply Steph is a new reaction channel. She loves dogs, has a pug mix. Her boyfriend makes appearances on her channel occasionally, and she seems to be going through a weight loss journey. And we've got some things in common. We like to eat, like a lot. Like she got a binge eating disorder, and that's how she found my channel, because of my binge eating tip type videos. As in how to get out of the binge eating funk, not to start binging. That's easy. So I just wanted to go over a few things, review a few things, and reiterate a few things in a video titled, The Video That Made Me Lose 30 Pounds.
Hey guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about the video that actually for me, started it all.
It's always great to do a little review because many of you constantly ask me for tips on how to not let the holy hot Cheeto control you, or the Oreos, or those double McCheesy burgers. So the first point she's going to talk about is when I said usually we have a binge, right? Or we overeat, we do something that we're eating a lot, and then we feel bad, and we throw our hands in the air and we say, F it, I'm f***ed, I f***ed it up and I'm fat. I'm f***ed and I'm fat. Now I might as well eat everything my little fat piggy hands can reach.
In my brain that I definitely had to work on, it's like, okay, so I ate this, I'm not gonna punish myself or go the other direction of, well, just, okay, so I messed up, might as well keep going and keep messing up even more. It's like, what I've been trying to do is like, okay, I messed up in a sense, so I'm gonna do better at my next meal. And that's something that's been helping me a lot. Just be kinder to myself with that, but also not being a little bit too blasé.
Yes, I love that part. What you're seeing here is you want balance. You want to hold yourself accountable, but you don't need to beat yourself up. For some reason, when I would do that, when I would have a binge, I would just get very anxious. And when you have anxiety, people who struggle with anxiety, and I have very, very bad anxiety where I will just get very anxious and then just go on a straight binge. So I have to really control that anxiety so that I don't feel like I need to fill it with something, as in food. But I love when she says you don't want to be too blasé, the whole, oh, it's fine. So you messed up, it's okay, just move on. Because a lot of people, what I see with some clients, they'll have that attitude. And I was the same way when I first started. I would say, oh, it's fine, I just messed up. And then the next day, oh, it's fine, I just messed up. And the next day, oh, it's fine, I just messed up. That just turns into an everyday thing, and you're still constantly doing the same thing. That's not gonna help you lose weight. So you don't want it to be too blasé about it. You don't wanna get there because then you're gonna be in that fat positive realm, and you don't wanna get to that point, or at least your heart doesn't, because it doesn't want to have a heart attack. The next point I made in the video that she's reacting to is not lowering your calories too much. So many of you are in my comment section saying, Michelle, I'm eating 1,200 calories. If you are someone like me who is eating 4, 5, 6, 10,000 calories a day, and you drop it down to 1,200 because MyFitnessPal told you to, and I like MyFitnessPal, it's technology, it's got its flaws, and you bring it down to 1,200 calories a day, it's gonna be a big shock to you. And Steph fell into that pit of low calories and then binging, and then after watching the video, she changed a few things to help her out.
Yeah, that was a big one that helped me when I first started and after I first watched this video. So I would up like my protein and vegetable consumption. When she talked about logging everything you ate, I used MyFitnessPal. I have a food scale. It sounds like pretty intense as I'm saying it right now, but like once you start doing that, you can look at like a piece of chicken or a serving of rice and kind of know ballpark of how many calories are in it.
So I related to her when she looked like she had a moment of reflection in her eyes. I saw her eyes glisten and was like, maybe this kind of sounds intense to my audience. It's really not intense if you go slow. I get many comments saying, I could never do what Michelle does. That's just way too intense. So when I was trying to lose weight, it was during the whole Biggest Loser era. And Jillian Michaels was surprisingly inspirational to me. I know that's weird for a lot of the younger people to hear, but back in my day, Jillian Michaels was the motivation when it came to weight loss. And I do personally vibe more with the yelling and being held accountable, but she was also very intense and made people throw up. I would have never listened to her in real life, but on screen, for some reason, her voice would play in my head over and over again. And as a 20-year-old woman, it really motivated me. So something I remember her saying that really stuck with me when I was really young was she only eats out maybe once, twice a month. And my jaw dropped. But what am I supposed to do when I'm at work? Bring my own food? No. Chipotle's right down the street. It's just fate. Frickin' Jillian Michaels. And in my head, I'm like, well, she's probably always been like this. And then they showed her before pictures and I'm like, damn it. That excuse is out the window. Point is though, it just didn't seem realistic. It felt extreme. And I remember saying, this woman has some problems. Like it'd be on the same level as the people who see me counting calories and saying, Michelle has an ED. She's obsessed with calories because it seems so far off from what they do and it's just different. And I had that same mindset. But as I slowly got better with cooking, I started making those mental connections and noticing that food I made at home benefited me more and kept me full more than eating out or certain, high calorie snacks. And that was something that Simply Steph figured out, which helped her lose that big chunk of 30 pounds. But like I was saying, once I figured out how to keep myself full with high protein, I stopped craving certain foods. And one day I was like, wait a minute. I haven't made my way into Carl's Jr. for that crispy chicken sandwich in like a month and a half. I didn't even realize it because I was full. I was making foods that I really liked, and so I didn't really miss anything. I'm not saying you can't eat out, more than once a month, but I'm saying you might hear her say she measures out everything or hear me say, my daily routine of how I eat or how I count calories, and it might sound extreme to you because you've never done things like this. Some things that you've never done will probably sound extreme, but it's really not as extreme as it feels. And like she said, once you really get the calorie counting down, you get into like this whole groove, you'll find that you eat pretty similarly. You'll start being able to ballpark it if you really want to do that. And it doesn't take that much time to count calories at all. People probably get really confused and it's new to them, so it takes them a little bit more time when they first start, but now it's like second nature. It's very simple to just weigh something out really quick, and then you start kind of realizing the math in your head. I can do a lot of it in my head and just quickly write it down if I really want to. I don't have to write it down at this point. I do like to, but there are some days where I don't write it in my journal. I just like to know how many calories I'm taking in, because if I don't see it, your girl gonna eat all of it. And I can still be an eater. And I don't want to walk back into that path. And I personally love it because I hate when I mindlessly eat. That's what I used to do all the time. Someone would just hand me food and I wouldn't even think about it. I would just eat it because it's there. I don't like that mindlessly eating. I love being aware of what I'm eating and putting into my body. And counting the calories and looking at the macros, the sugar, helps me do that rather than, does it look good? Yeah. If you remember from my Japanese video, the Japanese are very mindful of what they eat. And I thought that was so cool. And because I think as Americans, we just mindlessly eat. At least I was someone that just mindlessly ate. You let me know in the comment section if that's you. So then there was this really, really cute part in Steph's video because I mentioned that for eaters like us who need a lot of food, do not eat calorie-dense food in high volume. Like avocados, peanut butter. These things are high in fat. And if you are a muncher, you're gonna eat the whole thing. You're gonna eat way too much and you're not gonna be full. And the most important thing to do for us is to be full.
I'm gonna run that back because I feel like I watched that so many times.
Eat low calorie, high protein, high fiber dangerous than people like us who are bingers.
Again, I feel like this video I kept replaying in my head. Anytime I would make meals or like go grocery shopping, I would just hear Michelle McDaniel. As creepy as that sounds.
Honey, that is not creepy. It's relatable. Oh my gosh, so I wish I had YouTube when I was losing weight, or at least I wish I watched YouTube, but I would replay all the Biggest Loser episodes just so I could hear Julian Michaels or the Bob guy that I don't know his last name say, you know, whatever they were saying, all the motivational shit they would say in those episodes. Because it would shift my mentality. It would just shift me to be mentally stronger, because I looked at it this way. I was constantly hearing, you're just bigger, Michelle. It's fine to eat a lot. Sugar isn't addictive. It's in your genes. You're black, black, black. Black people are supposed to be fat. And I started, you know, kind of believing those words. So if I get positive words saying the opposite, it will reverse all the damaging shit that people told me over the years. So no, it's not creepy. It's flattering and very smart.
And I know sometimes like people will see someone that's like looks like her physique and not really trust them because it looks like she hasn't been through being overweight, but that's something that she has gone through, and that's why I trust her so much.
So I wanted to talk about this because every now and then I get a comment saying, there's no way you were overweight. You have no stretch marks. You don't seem like you struggled with food, and you work out all the time. You definitely never struggle with food. I can tell just through the screen. And I get it. I make it look easy on the internet. Truth is that I still struggle. You guys don't see that part, but I still struggle. I have just a better mentality of telling myself no. The food thing is a lot easier than it was, and I'm constantly getting better and better. Not to worry you, but and make it feel like it's a long road ahead, but it's a long road, okay? I'm still learning. I still have epiphanies. For example, like froyo. I get froyo every single Friday, and I fill my cup all the way up, and I used to just eat that whole thing, and that was like my dessert for the weekend. And just a few weeks ago, I was eating it, and I was kind of really thinking about what was going on, and I said, I don't have to eat this whole thing. I can split this up into about 3 servings probably. And that was a huge step. Maybe not for y'all, but for me and other eaters, we can feel that, right? We like to, for some reason, I like to finish the whole thing. It feels like a game, like a race. Like I just want to eat all of it, and I feel completed once I finish all of it. It was a big step to do that. I felt incomplete when I ate 1/4 of my froyo and put it into the freezer. And I even kept going back to the freezer like I used to when I was still struggling with not eating a whole plate of something or a whole, you know, bag of peanut butter pretzels. And I would constantly go back to the pantry and just stand in there and stare. So I was still doing that after years of being better with binge eating. So I get it. You guys don't visually see someone like me having a hard time. You know, you think it's easy. You don't take me seriously because I'm not 500 pounds or I don't have pictures of my gut hanging down to the floor. I get it. But me personally, I can usually tell when someone struggles or struggled with food, and I can tell certain people that talk about, you know, the obesity and, you know, the fat acceptance movement, I can tell when they haven't struggled because they say things like, oh, just stop eating. You know, it takes a lot. I personally think the way I talk about food is very realistic when it comes to addiction, and I don't know if I could make that up. For example, if I pretended that I was anorexic back in the day and I was like, oh, I don't have any pictures because I was really insecure, and you know, you just have to believe me. I feel like the stuff that I would say, you guys could pick up on it and be like, you know damn well you weren't carrying the Anna around, Michelle. I personally don't know that life. I only know the binge life. So, but I understand some of the people are wary. YouTubers lie. But if you believe me and you find me motivational, thank you. And if you do not, I mean, there's plenty of people who have binge eating disorder who fought it and lost weight and have pictures to prove it. But when it comes to Steph, Simply Steph, thank you for your videos. If you guys want to follow Steph, I linked her channel below. Go wish her some positivity in her comment section. And remember, come here. Bring your face here. You do not have to be a size 2. Having big biceps to scare away all the boys is not needed, but health is very important. And if you are a binger, you can get out of it. You just have to work a lot.
I can feel my body cold against the concrete, but I can't seem to get enough. My mind is fixed on what it wants. I just let you beat me. Looks can be deceiving. Let you get the best of me in bed with my worst enemy. This is a no-go. I just